what you is, and that's what you are. But I'm here to tell you, there's no shame in my game because I do this for a living. Just earlier today, I was down at the school board. I received a proclamation from Miami-Dade County Public Schools. It's been a long journey to get me to this point where I'm at. Truly, it has been. I had to lose everything. 9.5 years ago, a near-death experience with somebody else, not even my children's father. My children's father, I have a lifetime restraining order against him. A lifetime restraining order. So I get with this guy, just lust. There go that word again, lust. He looked good, he well-dressed, carried himself well, and he came from a great family. But he had a secret, he had a dark side that I never knew about. He nearly beat me to a pulp. At the time I was 16 years old. And I promise you, have you ever gotten beaten to the point where you feel your body feels so numb and you don't even feel the blows anymore? That's how numb your body is. And I felt that day, because it was just me and him in the house, that I knew that day I was going to be gone for real. And I cried out to God in my spirit, and I said, Lord, save me, please. I said, you can't take me right now, Father. And I'm crying, because I looked in this man's eye, and I didn't see him. I saw a demon. I saw a demonic spirit in his face. And right when I'm calling out to God and I'm asking God to save me, my daughter, literally, she just appeared instantaneously. She said, what are you doing to my mommy? And that would cause him to stop, to look back at her. She took off running. When she took off running, he jumped off of me. I just didn't know how badly I was beaten up till the CSI got there. He fled, but they eventually apprehended him later on. I was drenched, my robe was drenched in blood. My face was shifted. And when I was talking, it sounded like I was like literally whistling. And all I could hear the police tell me is that next time, you might not be so lucky. When they put me in the car to take me to the hospital, it was those same words that kept echoing in my head. I said, enough. I mean, I didn't put up with it with their dad, who I spent 12 years with. But what I'm trying to say is the cycle of abuse, it does not discriminate. What we look at to be flattering can easily be abused. No one in this sanctuary is exempt from domestic violence.
Come on.
You got to love yourself first and foremost. Because let me tell you how abusers operate. What abusers do, especially in new relationships, they groom you. They groom you to see just how far you'll let them go. And when you see there's no leverage, there's nothing that can restrain them from what they're doing, they start isolating you from your friends and your family. They don't want you hanging with this person. They don't want you hanging with that person because they out in the street doing God knows what, and they want to keep you to themselves. So once they put you in that place of isolation, who's going to come to your rescue? Not one single individual. Nobody don't want to be messed up with that. Everybody's going to tell you, I don't want to be part of that. I don't want to be part of that. See, I share my story, and why I do what I do is because I walked a mile in those shoes. I can look at a person and tell they're going through abuse. Simple conversation. Simple conversation. Because when you see somebody there with you, they're always checking their phone. They're afraid, oh, I gotta go get my phone. And, why? Somebody got their claws in that person. It took me having to go to a shelter, an emergency shelter called Safe Space, with my children. Spent 3 months there. Then when it was time for me to go, they gave me $1,500, which was victims relocation. And they said, here you go to start a fresh life. You can start a fresh life with $1,500. I mean, just think about it. And so in essence, what I did, I took the $1,500 and I transitioned to this place called the Lotus House in Overtown. See, I'm not ashamed to tell my story because through my pain, my purpose was birthed. And this is my ministry. Amen. This is where I make the most impact. I go school to school and I talk to kids. Come on. Kids that are the age I was when I had the first experience with domestic violence. If we don't train our kids, if we don't talk to them what is acceptable and tell them what is acceptable and what is not acceptable, it's easy for them to fall prey. Because you got guys, they sweet talkers, they're going to call you beautiful at the time, they're going to tell you fine, you look good, and this and that. Because they know by sharing these things, what they're doing, they're grooming you, you know. And I made it my life mission to talk about my personal experience. See, you can't talk about something you ain't gone through. Right. It's so hard to convey to other people of something that you yourself have not experienced. And so I realized, and I used to always say, I fell on my knees for years with my children's father, and I asked God, please remove this feeling that I have for this man, because I loved him more than I loved myself. And that's ludicrous. For you to love somebody more than you love you, that's a problem. But as sad as it may be, there's so many young women out here that have low self-esteem. They're seeking validation. They want to be validated by a man when they've already been validated by the greatest one of all. You know? And so when I got the communication where Melinda reached out to me, I said, how ironic. Just a week prior, I had a huge event. Macy's reached out to my organization, you know, to do a fundraiser for the organization because I did a promo video and I've been asking community leaders. We don't need no more emergency shelter. We need transitional homes. Remember, the Band-Aid, you know, that's what, I mean, don't get me wrong. Emergency shelters are great because that's a start. But there's no way on God's green earth that you can go into an emergency shelter for 3 months and come out brand new and think you got together, you're free from domestic violence. That's not the truth. And so I've been really diligently seeking and taking aggressive measures to share my experience and why I need help to acquire a transitional facility. Because in that transitional facility, you don't have to stress for a year about, okay, what I'm going to do now when my 3 months is up. 85% of victims go right back to their abusers. Wow. They do. These are known facts. Wow. Every 9 seconds, a woman is assaulted and abused in the U.S. Every 14.6 seconds, a man is abused. Believe it or not. Wow. No one is exempt. Come on. No one is exempt. So ladies, I stopped by here today to share with you. Love on yourself. Yes. Don't take no mess from nobody, let alone a man that's going to tell you you're this, you're that. You're not going to amount to anything. You need them to survive. Because the devil is a liar. And men, or young men, you don't deserve to be spoken down to either. Come on. If a woman got to call you out of your name, she's not the one for you. Amen. And when we realize this as a community, that it's okay to talk about if you've gone through abuse. It's okay to have the dialogue. See, we always worry about what folks going to say about us. And so we harbor so much hurt and so much pain till it makes us